and welcome to everyone who's watching this from home. This is a Cabinet meeting for the 12th of September 2023. And we begin, as we always do, with apologies for absence. Do we have any, please, Karen? No. Okay. The minutes of the last meetings, which were on the 11th of July and the 20th of July, I am going to sign those at the end of this meeting, unless anybody tells me that there is a problem with that. Can anyone propose that I do that? Proposed by Councillor Wearmouth and seconded by Councillor Anna Thompson. Are we all in favour and to take those minutes as they are? Good. So then we move on to disclosure of members' interests. Does anyone have interests that are relevant to the papers we're talking about today to declare? No. So our first report this morning is around our BEST programme and the request to have a delivery partner. So members will remember that this was a very important step that we took a year, 18 months ago, to set up an improvement board that looks not just at the quality of the work that we do, but the way that we do it, in order to make sure that whilst on the one hand we continue to provide all the frontline services that people acknowledge and enjoy in the county, we also need to make sure that the work that we do in this building and in the other buildings that we have is of the best efficiency and quality. That is all around providing value for money, which is one of our key priorities. So getting in a delivery partner will help us with the next stage of this work to ensure that we provide that necessary capacity and skill to ensure that we do make sure that everything that we do provide is of the best efficiency and the best and carried out in the best manner possible. So that is the basis of the report. You will see there that that there is a cost involved to this and a risk and reward element, but it basically is to agree to take out a contract for a best delivery partner in consultation with myself and the Deputy Leader, following the conclusion of the procurement process up to £3 million, exclusive of VAT and risk and reward element. Are there any questions? Is everyone happy with this? Yeah. If so, I would propose this recommendation. Ask if there is a second. Seconded by Councillor Wearmouth. Are you all in favour of this recommendation? Yes, that's unanimous. Thank you very much indeed. And we'll obviously keep everyone posted as we move forward on this process. The next report is around our financial performance 23-24 and the position at the end of June 2023. There are a range of recommendations here, and I'm going to ask our Cabinet Member responsible for corporate resources, Richard Wearmouth, to tell us more about this paper.
Thank you very much, Leader. So this is a paper that comes at this time every year to the Cabinet. It's the Q1 outturn report, and what we find in the report makes mention to it is that as the Council's in this first quarter, everything's settling down a little bit, but often we do encounter some projected overspend, and this year is not in any way significantly different to that. However, in previous years, the projected overspend has been considerably more. I think in some years we've had 10 to 18 million has been projected. We're nowhere close to that number, which is a good sign because it shows that all the departments are already making sure that they're in full control of their budgets. The report is detailed. It goes into information for each council department. I'm not proposing to do that at length, and so I'll just go to the recommendations of the report, and those recommendations are, with a slight change to the wording, actually, that Cabinet approves the use of £1.855 million of contingency to partly fund the shortfall that is expected because of the pay awards for 2023 to 2024, which of course are not in our control. That's something that's negotiated by central government and with the unions. The second point is to approve the reprofiling of the capital programme, £15.902 million for 23-24 to 24-25 to reflect estimated expenditure levels in the current financial year. Just to put a bit of explanation on that, obviously we do try to take account of what's likely to happen in the capital programme, but there's all sorts of things that influence that, and it does require us to be to make modest changes in year sometimes to the budget, and that's what that's doing. The third point is to approve the transfer of £1.556 million from the Public Health Main Grant Reserve to provide additional services to reduce poverty and health inequalities. And that obviously is a very important part of the Council's programme, one of its key priorities, to make sure that we're tackling inequalities across Northumberland. I'm happy to answer any questions, but obviously this is a very much a standard report that we see a few times a year, just summarising the position to date. Thank you.
That's excellent summary. Thank you very much. Well, clearly, we've looked at this report in great detail in the run-up to this meeting, and grateful for the efficient way in which we are managing our expenditure and income. Are there any questions?
One further comment, Leader, actually, is just in the report there is something there for members to note. Again, I won't run through that whole list, but that's part of obviously what we'll be doing when we consider the report, is to just note those points.
Yes, indeed. Okay, any questions, any comments, thoughts that we haven't for today? No. Okay, so is there a proposal for these recommendations with the change that we have discussed? Proposed by Councillor Riddle, seconded by Councillor Wearmouth. Are you all in favour? Yes, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. We move on to the next one, which is around a loan to Whittingham, Callerley and Allenham Parish Council. Richard Wearmouth again.
Thank you, Leader. So this is a very modest loan that we're providing to said Parish Council. The report is very self-explanatory. And you can see the recommendations at 2.1, which is just to approve this loan, and we will receive the money back in due course.
Excellent, thank you very much. Are you proposing the recommendation?
I will indeed, thank you, Leader.
Proposed by Councillor Wearmouth, seconded by myself. Are we all in favour of that? Yes, we are. Thank you very much. Then we move on to new capital proposals, which is always very heartening to see every cabinet meeting. Again, spending money across the county in a whole range of different ways. And so what we'll do is we'll go through each one individually, and then at the end we'll take them all together if we're all agreeing with them as a single recommendation. So the first one, the Family Hub grant. I believe Councillor Rowland Thompson will take us through this, and I think I'm right in saying this is we were one of the very few pilots that were picked out by the government to roll this scheme out, which I'm very proud about. Over to you.
Yes, Leader, we are one of 14 local authorities who've been given this trailblazer funding, and if the Family Hub model works well in Northumberland and the other local authorities, which it is working extremely well, it's something that will then be rolled out across the country. So the pressure's on for us to make this work for the good of England, and we are. The support for the scheme comes from all corners of Parliament. You know, Frank Field, who set up the Sure Start programme, is advocating this alongside Dame Andrea Leadsom, who's the government's early years advisor, who we welcomed up the other month to the Blythe and Berwick family hubs. But there are family hubs and outreach centres in every corner of Northumberland, so there isn't one part of the county that isn't covered by the staff here. So this particular grant is for £63,000 in 23-24 and £59,000 in 24-25 for the capital element of the programme, upgrading our existing buildings, our IT infrastructure, furniture and so on. But this is part of £1.446 million in 23-24 and 1.197 in 24-25, which is the revenue side, which is the staffing costs and so on and so on. So this is different from what we've done in the past, because before these services were 0 to 5, whereas under the family hubs they're 0 to 19 and up to 25-year-olds for young people with SEND. It joins up and enhances the services. It's delivered through one building, so you have the council services, you have NHS, you have speech and language therapy, all of those things all in one place. It's just a one-stop shop for parents and carers who will feel supported for nurturing their babies and children, making sure they get the best start in life, which in turn improves health and education outcomes for babies and children. And we're already very good at this in Northumberland. Our early years providers are rated the best in the country, but with this, they'll be even better. With it going 0 to 19 and 0 to 25, it now incorporates youth service support, which was once the Northumberland Adolescent Service, a standalone service. Now it's in with the family hubs. This money that's come in is to invest more in that, and we've employed more staff, which is able to support youth projects up and down the county. So it's not just something for young mums and young families. It's really for teenagers and, like I said, up to mid-20s for young people with special needs.
That's very, very well put. Thank you very much indeed for that. And obviously a very important part of meeting our tackling inequalities priority area, and also doing our very best for young families going through to services for youth and young people. Very important thing that we're doing here, and I'm really proud that we're part of this this small group of councils that have been picked out amongst all of them to pioneer this. Are there any questions on this particular one? Yes, Gordon Stewart.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Echo the comments made by the portfolio holder there, and welcome the money coming in. He is absolutely right. This has had a huge beneficial impact upon families in urban and rural areas. I welcome this. There's a misunderstanding by some of what it actually means, and I'm grateful to the County Council Comms team who have recently been putting out the information there about family hubs. Fantastic for the families of Northumberland going forward. Thank you.
Good. So we should really try and get an update on how well these are working in a few months' time. So let's do that. Okay. So any other questions on this particular one? If not, we'll move on to number 2, which is the flood and coastal erosion risk management schemes. I'll ask Colin Horncastle to introduce this.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, the flood and coastal erosion risk management schemes. Often at Cabinet, you're looking at millions and millions of pounds for schools here and leisure centres there, and a couple of early reports. We've just seen 1.5 million for this, 1.5 million transferred to that. And then you get something like this, which is for very small amounts. 2 schemes, one at Otterburn and one at Red Row, 56,000 and 61,000. And it makes you realise that we are interested and concerned in the smaller detail of what goes on for our residents. The 2 schemes together are only going to safeguard 4 houses, but it shows that the County Council is conscious of the worry and hardship that the flooding causes. And if any of you have ever seen flooded houses, you know exactly how bad it is. So it's before us because the work had not yet been carried out and the costs have gone up. But I just thoroughly recommend it. And the good thing, apart from the flood defences for the 2 schemes for the 4 houses, 2 in each scheme, we get some highways improvements out of it. But the best thing of the lot is, because of our officers' endeavour, we aren't even paying for it because of the money from the Environment Agency.
That's good. Excellent. Thank you for that. Any questions on this? Yes, John Riddle.
Not really a question, Leader, but just a comment as a local member. I'm very aware, and I have been to see these properties myself in the past. So I'm very pleased that officers have worked. And this is sort of a partnership thing, really, where it's a real benefit to us, but it will be very much appreciated by the property owners.
Good. Excellent. Thank you very much for that. So we'll move on to the next one, which is Lily Dory, Play Village. This is just really passporting finance from one from Dulac and also the Borderlands growth deal to ensure that we can continue through the Borderlands deal programme to support the extraordinary development that has taken place in Alnwick. There is absolutely no question about the amount of visitors that are going to Alnwick specifically to go there, and the money that is bringing into all the businesses in and around Alnwick. So it's a really good project that the Borderlands deal, which we're a key partner, has supported. You will know, of course, that that money is also being used for interesting projects in rural Northumberland as well, like, for example, Ardgefferin and Muller. So it's really important that we can continue to support schemes that are across the county that provide tourism opportunities and wealth creation for the villages and the towns in which they're placed. So I'm pleased that we are proposing here to basically support but passport money through to this particular scheme. Any questions from anyone on this? No. Okay, so the next one is the levelling up funding for Hexham to Corbridge and Bedlington east to west. And this is around cycling initiatives, basically. Wojciech Pożar.
Thank you, Leader. So, as you are aware, we've submitted a bid to Levelling Up Fund Tranche 2 in 2022 for two schemes. One was to link Hexham and Corbridge with cycling and walking provisions, and the other one was the same, very similar scheme for Bedlington east to west. The bid was recently approved and award was made this year. Hexham to Corbridge will provide a active travel corridor between two towns from Hexham train station to Corbridge. That will improve the local connections between the town and hopefully facilitate some active travel trips between both of them. The cost of this scheme is around £9 million, which includes £1 million contribution from Northumberland County Council, which was allocated in our local cycling and walking program, and now we relocate that to this project. Bedlington Active Travel Corridor will provide the link between east and west side of the town. This will help to connect key residential and employment areas on the west with the proposed Northumberland train station and the eastern coastal area. And the cost of this scheme is nearly 8 million, it's 7.7 million, and that's, again, this one includes 1 million contribution from the council. The aim of both schemes is to improve multimodal transport options to better connect residents to employment, education, transport hubs, and everything else. So as I said, the total cost of the scheme will be 16.7 million. For 2 million of our contribution, we receive 14.7 million from the government. So it's a great scheme. It will be delivered in the next 2 years, between 2024 and 2026. And it's worth to mention also that all maintenance obligations will be fulfilled as part of our standard maintenance regime we've got in the council. Thank you.
That's excellent. Thank you very much indeed for that. So, any questions, queries, thoughts on these? I think we're all very supportive of this development. Bearing in mind that we will be fairly soon announcing our new environment policy, and that will be around the place in which people live and work and play, and it's incredibly important to spread out the offer of recreation and healthy options for people to enjoy, and this will certainly fit the bill in Corbridge and also, of course, in Bedlington. So I think it's a great initiative, and really looking forward to seeing them done when they're both completed. Yes, John Riddle.
Yeah, just to add to that, Leader, I think it's testament to the foresight that we've had as an administration as well in putting money where our mouth is about cycling and walking in Northumberland, because this is a very small amount of money out of our total budget, which has levered in a massive amount of money, and we're lucky to actually get this up north. We talk about levelling up in the north-south divide, but here is evidence that the government have listened, and I think it will be a great legacy, for Northumberland and for the future of cycling and walking.
Absolutely, spot on. Couldn't agree more. So it is very nice to be able to be talking about a project in Alnwick and a project in Bedlington, a project in Corbridge, and so on in this meeting, as we do actually every meeting where we talk about investment in all parts of the county. because every part is important as the rest. So that's good, thank you. And that takes us to the penultimate one, again in Bedlington, where the Queen Elizabeth II Memorial Garden project will act as a very fitting memorial to the late Queen. This is a project that's actually being undertaken not just through our Parks Enhancement Programme, but also with significant funding from Councillor Malcolm Robinson's local improvement scheme. And I think you've seen the photographs and you can see the detail around this. And I think it's a really splendid memorial and something that will be enjoyed by the people in Bedlington. And I would say well done to the councillor for working on with this and actually getting this to where we are today, which is hopefully agreeing it. Anything from anyone? Yes, Colin Allcastle.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, not a great deal to add to the report, but just shows that this shows this council's commitment to our parks and open spaces. I mean, we're just going through a £1.2 million improvement enhancement of our parks, which will soon be finished. And we realise that I'm from a rural area and I haven't got a park near me. I don't need one. Anywhere I go out the door, it's a park. But for people who live in the towns and the built-up areas, we realise how important parks are. A quiet area that can go and have some clean air, some exercise with the family and children. So just to agree with you, Leader, well done to Councillor Robinson, the local member, for pushing this. So fully support this.
Excellent, thank you very much. Yes, our country parks and our green spaces are incredibly important. We could see that over the COVID time. And that's why they will also feature in our new environment policy, which we'll be announcing soon, because it is an integral part of the environment in which everyone lives and enjoys. So on this one, I think we're very happy with this. And so we move on to the final one, which is Telecare Digital Switch. And I'm going to ask Wendy Pattison to tell us about this.
Thank you very much, Leader. UK communication providers such as BT, Virgin Media and Sky, etc., are transforming the telecommunications network in the UK from the traditional landline to all IP networks, re digital information. Because of this, telecare systems which are provided to support residents in an emergency within their home, it now becomes necessary to replace these systems before December 2025. So can we approve the allocation of funding of 0.547 million from the Adult Social Care Capital Grant towards this very important lifeline for all of our vulnerable residents?
Excellent, thank you. That's a very good presentation of why we feel this is a good scheme to take forward. Are there any questions or additions or queries from anyone at all? No? Okay, so there we are. So we've had all of them. I'm now going to propose from the chair that we accept all of the recommendations that we've touched on in this agenda item. So I propose that. Is it seconded by Councillor Pojai? Are we all in favour of all of them? Yes, that's very good. Thank you very much indeed. Great news. And so we come to our final report today, which is the Additional Market Sustainability and Improvement Grant. And Wendy Pattison is going to explain what that means.
Well, the Market Sustainability Report setting out plans for the use of the additional 2.3 million of Market Sustainability and Improvement Fund grant, which was announced at the end of July. Because of the timing of the announcement, it is proposed to allocate most of the grant to time-limited spending and to manage it flexibly alongside grant funding for hospital discharge. We will be sending a full report to the Department of Health and Social Care in late September, saying how we will use the grant to ensure that there will be sufficient social care capacity this winter. We have to spend this year's allocation by the end of the financial year, and the attached paper sets out in detail the proposals to use this grant within the timescales. So some of the key proposals are bringing forward next year's pay award in some areas to assist with recruitment and retention in the care sector, increasing fees to care homes in relation to clients with dementia and challenging behaviour, and reducing some waiting list issues that the service is struggling to manage. And finally, to increase purchases of GELS equipment, which is the joint lending service, which we assist when anyone has had a fall or coming out of hospital. And this is ready for the winter and assisting with hospital discharge delays. Happy to endorse this.
That's a very thorough explanation. Thank you very much indeed. Are there any questions for Councillor Patterson on this report? So you have proposed the
I have,
recommendation.
yes, please.
And you seconded, I think, Councillor Jones. So are we all in favour of those recommendations? We are. And that takes us to the end of this meeting. Can I thank you all very much indeed for your attendance, and thank you for joining us at home.